Okay, guys, we are going to get started. Hope everyone has had a good week and a good month. Bob is traveling and will not be joining us. Looks like we have a few visitors via the web or phone. Jackie Gain is, I know, in Washington. And up on the left, I can't tell who that is. Kathleen, thank you for joining us. We're going to start looking for approval of the agenda for approval of last month's minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? We have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, show of hands. Okay, thank you. Secondly, and very important to us, is welcoming our new rec committee members. That would be Russell Rappel and Damon Williams. Guys, we appreciate so much you guys joining us. We really take a lot of pride in what we do here and what we represent, who we represent for our members. So thank you for being part of this. Next, we have a couple of visitors, and I'm going to lead off with Russell. Russell had wanted to mention, to get up and talk again about a suggestion for a dog park. So go ahead and kick it away.
Thank you. I've got 3 minutes, right? Robert mentioned that I come up here not as a committee member, but as a community member since I presented my idea about the dog park. And I just wanted to throw a couple ideas should the committee take this up this year for 2026. There was a couple of things, I'd mentioned that I was willing to do a fundraising and match up to $3,000 if we're allowed to do that. And then we talked about the potential area of where that dog park could go behind the building there to make it easy for people that might not be able to walk very far and park in the area, in the parking lot, and get to it. And then at the end, after I sat down, Tom had talked about the housing that's close to that area and the concern about the barking. And I just wanted to kind of like, I don't want to call it a rebuttal because it's not really a rebuttal, but just something to think about that I thought about since that time, because I wanted to come up with something for us to think about related to that. In the dog park area, for the times I've been in the dog park here at Loch Lomond and the one in Bentonville and a couple others in the area, there's occasional dog barking, but I have never experienced the incessant dog barking that I experienced from dogs like just down the road from me in their backyards, left outside for hours and hours and hours. You have a big difference between dogs left outside where the owner is not home and the dog has nothing to do but bark versus the owner there with the dog. Usually in a dog park, that barking is occasional and it's more playful. It's not the incessant cry for help. So just something to think about. And then also, as a comparison, I live a half a mile away from the Branchwood complex. And on any given beautiful evening, I can be sitting on my back deck, and sometimes as late as 10:30 at night, I can hear from the pickleball courts. So, I mean, I know it's not a dog barking, but we're talking, I'm a half mile away, and I can hear it like it's like I'm standing next to the pickleball courts. So there's a give and take there, and I just want to throw that out there as something to think about if we bring up that topic. Thanks.
Okay, any questions for Russ? Okay, thank you, Russ. Next, we have some friends here from Bella Vista Museum. If you'll get up and introduce yourself before you speak, and just remember you'll have 3 minutes each, so 6 minutes total. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Dale Phillips. I am the co-president of the Bella Vista Historical Society and chairman of our fundraising committee for our $2 million expansion project that many of you are familiar with. We are here today to seek your approval to organize a 2-day pickleball tournament as a fundraiser for this noble project. We very much hope for your support in this, and we're hoping to generate about $10,000 toward our project. We've been able to raise about $150,000 so far. As you all know, this is a very difficult time for fundraising, so we are hammering away trying to get this accomplished. But to share some details with you about what we have planned, I'm going to introduce Brian Mobley of my finance committee, my fundraising committee.
Hey, y'all. First of all, thanks for having us. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to be here. Just a little history. Just to get it out on the table, we might have gotten off on the wrong foot back in June with advertising for the pickleball tournament too soon. We thought we had all the pieces in place, and we stepped on some toes, quite honestly. And we're here today to say we're sorry about doing that. We should have come to you first. So my apologies. But what we are trying to do, like Dale said, is raise funds for an expansion to the museum. We do hope that we can bring in $10,000. We've got folks helping us from Fort Smith who have done tournaments, similar tournaments, given us background, things to do, things not to do. And when we met with some of the pickleball folks here, they let us know there are other things we should and shouldn't do here in Bella Vista, and they were happy to help guide us. And we would certainly appreciate that and look hopefully forward to that collaboration. We are looking at 2 days. We were hoping for 2 days in October. We realize that may be too soon, and that's okay. We can push back if we need to, no problem, assuming we get your approval. We're looking to have about 140 people at the tournament. That would not raise the entire amount of $10,000, but between sponsorships, a silent auction, a raffle, we believe it is realistic. We also understand that logistics at Branchwood may be a problem. We do not want 140 people on that campus all at the same time, so we would break the tournament into stages or flights, but we'd like help with that as well. We do also understand that we might need to work with you to bring in a porta potty, a vendor maybe for lunch, a food truck, something like that, but all things that if we get there with you, we'd like you to work with us and help consider as well. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I don't quite know what more to give you at this point.
Any questions from the group?
I have a couple. So you were looking at least tentatively October, but that's flexible, and probably all of one day, all of multiple days?
We were thinking if we had 140, it would take a full 2 days to get through that.
2 days. And this is my ignorance, and I'm asking really everyone, is there an organized, I'm guessing the answer is yes, pickleball group within Bella Vista? And if so, I would think we'd want to hear from them about their thoughts about representing essentially people who actually use the courts.
Larry, it's a good question, and Richard and I both are actively part of that large community. And we had a small group, including Jackie Gain, actually meet with these gentlemen to kind of get an initial overview of their thoughts and make some suggestions. You know, I think given the opportunity, there's some of us could really be good representatives of the group to make sure they understand the cause more than anything. The fact that there are golf tournaments held many weekends in the summer, there are alternative courses to play. It's not overly disruptive to the Bella Vista residents, and we have courts at Metfield for those who still want to play on that weekend that these gentlemen want to host the tournament.
Let me jump in. I want to echo the point he's made. Metfield would remain open, and we'd probably try and accommodate, maybe we would add some additional hours of pickleball play at BVRC, and maybe we waive the $1 fee for that time period or something, something like that, to give the non-tournament users some options. Keep in mind this event would have to be approved by this committee because it's allowing outside play. I think the majority of the play is going to be Bella Vista residents, but since they're allowing outside residents to use, that's why it requires a vote of the membership. We normally do that. I'm talking more for the newer people. We normally do outside event approval in January of each year, but there is occasion we'll do approvals during the year. And what we try and do is we try and focus in on youth events, like the Kids Fishing Day, Fishing Derby at Metfield that we have each year. We do charitable events like the cancer shoots at the gun range, and things that overall benefit the community. So those are the types of events that the committee has typically approved in the past. This one's the only, I agree, there are some really good comparisons to golf and to the gun range and so forth, but this is the first time where we've allocated pickleball courts. So I think we need to be a little bit sensitive to that. We don't ever want to go wild with restricting usage too much at the course. So we don't, we want to be careful with the precedent that we set. But I think that as long as we don't go wild with approving a bunch of different tournaments, maybe 1 or 2 a year, I think that's reasonable. And making sure that we don't use all the courts and having some accommodation at BVRC and so forth. I think all those will make it easier on our pickleball community. So just some food, food for thought.
My only comment to that is I certainly appreciate that we typically look at these in January, but I certainly don't think that's determinative.
No, we've done.
That's just my comment.
We've done ones that are off calendar.
Yeah,
also.
we have.
And
sure.
and just so you're aware, we are actually we're actually looking at making some modifications to the policy that would actually apply. This would apply to, not because of this, because of another event previously. So I'm sure all of you watched the most recent Rules and Regulations Committee meeting that occurred last week. I'm sure you guys are all up to speed on that. But it is something that we're looking at. Those changes would not impact what is occurring right now because the board has not yet voted upon those and would not vote on those for at least 2 more months. So, so we are working to add some clarity. And one of the things, I think one of the biggest things that we're changing on it is that it's just, we're going to delay it a little bit to give the community a little bit of time to comment and so forth. I think that's one of the changes that we're looking to make. Doesn't impact today, but it will impact in the future.
I guess my comment would be, and I'm not a player, so I don't have any stake from that perspective, is if we've got folks here that feel they can credibly speak for the existing players in the community, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion so it can be sort of discussed and other people can chime in. So I move that we approve this projected use subject to working with Tom's team and with the existing Bella Vista pickleball players on appropriate dates and accommodations. So I am making that motion.
Should we vote now with a second?
You have to have a second, then you go to discussion.
Yeah, that's why I made the motion, so.
Have a second and discussion now.
I have something I'd like to say. I'm actually a volunteer docent at the Historical Museum, so I would abstain from voting.
Okay.
But I feel the Historical Museum has a definite place in our community to preserve the history of Bella Vista. For that reason, I think anything we can do to help them collect some money to help the future of the building that they're trying to accomplish would be wonderful. So I say yes.
I think it's a great
in my
point.
own way.
Richard?
I think there is some, I mean, we have some precedent with like the tennis courts that are used occasionally for various events, charitable tournaments and whatnot during the year. So, I mean, it's not abnormal to do this. And there's pretty good notice, I think, 2 months, as long as the pickleball folks are all, know they have an option to go with that. I mean, I think it makes some sense to approve this as well.
I would be negligent in giving the impression that we did not have a lot of pushback from some of the key pickleball members, community. And I think Tom makes it a really good point of acknowledging that this does not mean if we were indeed to approve this, that the door is wide open for anything to come through. It is, to Liz's point, it's a great partner in the community, I think an important part of the community, in my opinion. Other feedback?
think if you do it, I think it's really important that you notify the community. Because if you got, say, a family that's got people coming in from Texas that's planning on playing pickleball at Branchwood, that's a quarter of a mile from their house, and they will go down there and there's a tournament going on that they can't enter, whether you leave, you know, at that point in time, whether you might leave one court open for local play or something. You know, we do that on the ladder. We always leave one court open for local play. I know that kind of throws a kink in with your, you know, trying to work the whole group, trying to get it over with, trying to get the tournament over with, but at least some way to notify, be sure you notify the community through whatever media you have.
We can definitely put out a notice. We could put out a notice, you know, this week, and then give them 2 months notice. I think it is important, you know, that I think it's best that they, in my opinion, they would have all 6 courts. Also, don't forget, we also have the 1 court at the tennis facility that we could have that one also being at a zero cost use for this during this 2 days. So that would give our membership 6 courts, 7,
Actually,
4 on the other, 7 courts in total.
yeah, BVRC
You know,
has 2.
2, then the one at the tennis, and then 4. So that would give our community 7 courts to choose from. It may not be the most convenient if you live really close, but it would give them a good option. But yes, we can definitely accommodate the notification so that everybody is as aware as possible. And we do that, you know, John does a really good job of making sure when we have a shoot that we notify the community if there's going to be a disruption. We've had to close. Maybe a better one would be when we've closed, when the police department did not have their own shooting range. We used to shut down our shooting range so they could do their qualifying that they had to do once or twice a year or something like that. So we would notify the membership that the range would be closed for a good reason, you know. So those are my thoughts.
And if I could suggest, we have a group me of about 300 active Bella Vista players that communicate, but that won't cover everybody, the people that perhaps are weekend visitors or similar that may show up or may be there the week prior, the month prior. Perhaps we could get some help with a laminated sign that we could place on the entrance to the gate for a month prior to the decided on date. I think that'll help. Anything else? Okay, I think we have a motion to vote. Show of hands, those who wish to approve with Liz abstaining for a to-be-determined date of hosting a pickleball tournament on a Saturday, Sunday in the coming months for this group and this group at this time. Okay, I think we have it. Congratulations, guys. We'll look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to amenity reports, and Bob was not able to join us. Oh, I'm sorry. Please join us. Come up to the microphone. Please introduce yourself. Let us know what you're here to speak about, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak if that's okay.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Cherry. I just wanted to express my interest in joining the Recreation Committee. I understand I've missed some open slots. So I just wanted to come and express my interest and see if there's a wait list and learn more about the Recreation Committee, and because I want to be a part of it. Huge cyclist, hiker, kayaker, love all our amenities, and just want them to be the best they can be for our community.
Have you met Jessica, our corporate secretary? If you could get her your information, and if there was an opening became available. Now, this is the first meeting for their 1 year for the current cycle, so you did just miss it by a little bit. But if you can get Jessica your information, we might have an opening during the year. It does happen. And if you're still highly motivated 9 months from now, that's when we would want you to let us know. So get her your contact information. We'll see what happens, and thank you for your interest in volunteering.
Wonderful, thank you. And again, welcome.
Thank you, Cheryl. Guys, we're gonna move on to amenity reports. Bob was not able to join, but had sent his report for London Park, and Larry's gonna cover that for us.
Okay, London Park from Robert. Overall condition, restrooms clean and well stocked, pavilion area looked great. Fish cleaning station was clean and all looked great. Areas for review, additional erosion at the sides of the boat ramp due to frequent rain in June. Member interactions. Several members mentioned they felt there was an unusual amount of vulture activity in and around the area, maybe a little more roadkill than usual. That's my comment, not his. I had a dead armadillo on my street today. Additional observations. Dredging of the creek to make lake area was completed and looks great. And then he's got a couple pictures, and that's his report.
Thank you, Larry, for doing that. Damon, you're gonna jump in and do Branchwood and Loch Lomond. Yes.
Actually, yeah, Russell will be.
Russell's got his.
Hi, everybody. So I have two areas. I'll start with the Loch Lomond Recreation Complex. Considering the amenity was in full use just 11 days ago, it looks great. Whoever did all the cleanup did a really fantastic job. I have never been down in that area. I've been up at the Lake Point for the last 3 years, but I imagine it's quite a chore afterwards down there. The added welcoming decoration on the fence next to on the side of the softball field is really nice. I think they must do that. I think, if I remember correctly, they do that every year. I noticed it last year too. I noticed there are currently porta-johns outside the restrooms, and there's some digging behind the structure. I don't know what that's about, but I'm gonna guess that something happened during the July 3rd event, and there's some repairs that needed to be done. I don't know if anybody can expand on that, but I just noticed that, but the area was still clean and serviceable for the time being while they're doing those repairs. I didn't have any area for review. I talked to some folks using the large dog area. That's primarily what I do when I'm in that area after doing some walking around. They're happy with this time of year because it's all grass and it's all nice and clean. They are hopeful that in the summer when the grass goes away and there's mud, that there's a better land management with the way that areas are repaired and kept up or tried to be kept up, because they know it's a challenge over there, or they know it's a challenge over there. Additional observation, first time doing this report, so I don't know if this is what's going here, but this is my own personal observation. As I walk around that area, I'm comparing this to walking around Osage Park, if anyone has ever walked through that area. As you walk around there in the swamp area or whatever they call it, there are little signs that talk about the fish that are in the lake and what kind of fish are there and resident and different, plants and stuff that are unique to the area. I thought it would be neat at some point, if we want to talk about it. I'm not saying now or 2026, but at some point it would be really neat now that those the fishery area is pretty much finalized, to have some kind of educational signage there, so as that people are walking around, they don't just wonder what are these puddles or these big areas of water all about. That they could actually learn, the process that is involved in maintaining the fish that supply our lakes. Any questions on that one?
So I didn't realize you were going to do Lomond. That's awesome. So I actually was there kayaking the other day, and I noticed that for the second month, maybe I'm doing something wrong. The fish station, the water doesn't work. Is it not supposed to work? There's a fish cleaning station. If you go around near where the kayaks are, you walk out a little bit. Yeah, well, there's kayaks on stand a rack?
You're talking about
Grand Park.
Oh, that's what I thought we were talking about.
Park.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
talking about Black Loman, the dam, the dog park.
Oh, this is at the dam. Never mind.
To answer your question about the construction going on around the bathrooms, I don't think there's anything going on there. We lock the bathrooms every 4th of July because there would be too much traffic on the septic system.
Got it.
And so what they do is they will block off the drain field so somebody doesn't drive on it. So that might be what
That's
you were
okay.
seeing.
Got it, yep, makes sense.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. On the second one, the Branchwood Complex Trail. Branchwood Complex Trail is in excellent condition, it's beautiful. I didn't put this in my report, but kudos should go to the crew that does all the maintenance, the yard maintenance there, the grass cutting and the trimming and everything. It's really beautiful there right now. Interior of the building at Branchwood, clean and well maintained. The staff is awesome there. They're very friendly and welcoming. I am there at different times during the week, and I think I come across every staff person that's there, and they're all wonderful. The outside playground is well maintained. All the features appear serviceable. Pickleball courts appear serviceable and are very well used over there. And the trail and disc golf course are in excellent condition except for 2 noted areas in my areas of review. That is, and these might have been mentioned in the past because I haven't been here, somebody might have caught this already and mentioned it, but I noticed that there's a 4x4 post just before the entry into baskets 9 and 10. I think there used to be a sign there letting players know that they have to go like off the beaten path to hit those 2 baskets. So there's that missing sign, and I included a picture in my report on that post. And then the post for hole 14 or basket 14, there's a lot of growth around it. You can barely see it. It's probably not that big of a deal, but maybe the next time the crew goes out there, if they can weed whack around that a little bit more so that the sign can be seen, because you can barely see it. It's kind of into the woods there. Spoke with a couple members walking the trail. They were enjoying a bit of the cooler weather, walking later at night. They commented on how nice everything looked. Also spoke with some members while using the sauna in the men's locker room. One of them stated he lives closer to the rec, but comes all the way over to Branchwood because the sauna is better. So just want to mention that, and had no additional observations.
Thank you, Russ, great job. Larry, you gonna do Blowing Springs?
Yes, sir. Let's see, went out to Blowing Springs in the Gear Garden on Saturday. Very good, very busy, as you can imagine this time of year. Some of my observations are the same as I've put in some prior reports. Potholes as you enter lots 1 and 2. And even if we can't completely resurface the parking lots of the campgrounds, we could at least fill some of those holes. Paint still needed on the Gear Garden water station that has the water spigots. Let's see. I know I'm going to include it as a picture. There's a spigot riser at Space 56 in the campground that's leaning. I suppose somebody hit it or something. It did work, but it leaks a little bit. It did look, it's not broken, but it is weird. I'd reported in the past that the bench at the Blowing Springs parking lot, the multicolored one, needed repainting, and it is gone. So I'm hoping, what's that? Al shall be up. Well, I don't know. Is that what's going on? Or did it just disappear?
It needed sanding and
of course.
and
all right.
what's being replaced. So it's
awesome.
Done, and we got the artist who did it originally.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
I assume the porta potties are some contracted vendor services. That one's usually great. This time, maybe it's a Saturday. The soap dispenser was empty, and usually it's fine. So, small comment. Spoke to the staff person in the booth. Said the online reservation system is operating and has been really well received by the guests. They find it user-friendly. And usually when I'm there, it takes a lot longer because the phone's ringing all the time, and it's fantastic because, as she reported, the staff now can do more meaningful things and everyone can go online like it's 2025. So that's great, kudos to whoever implemented that. And at the Gear Garden, the exterior shower doesn't work. I don't know if it's supposed to. The one's next, it's attached to the toilets.
Did you just on one side or the other?
I was just on the men's side. Is there one on the one side? Okay, because I don't go on the women's toilet. So I don't know if it's supposed to be turned off in the summer. And that's it.
If I can ask a follow-up question, it may be beneficial for us all to know, the service schedule for the portalets that we do keep on property, is it monthly?
They're variable depending on usage, anywhere from 3 times a week to once a week,
Okay.
generally.
And replaced, emptied that often?
Emptied, yes.
Okay. Okay.
And this is the first time I look at that every month, first time I've seen anything that was other than perfect, so it happened.
Thank you, Larry. Next, Tyree and Granton. I think that's Damon.
Yes, thanks, it's great to be here, by the way. So I won't itemize every single finding, but I did both Tyree and Granton just before the 4th of July holiday. First I did Granton, and initial impression as you drive in is really favorable. It's clear that everything is being manicured very, very well. Of note, however, is, and I think this refers to what Larry mentioned, the floating dock is being encroached. It needs, I think, some help. It's got some deferred maintenance issues, I think. The wheels that allow it to, allow the gangway to rest on the bank, they're flat and off the rim and kind of sunk into the ground. One of the flanges around one of the pilings is broken and needs to be repaired, and weeds are encroaching. Also, as Larry mentioned, the spigot on the fish cleaning station, I tested that, and all I got was a gurgling sound. I looked to see if there was some other valve that I had failed to turn on, and it was not clear to me.
And that's what I was talking about, yeah. I mean, I don't fish, but that's what it's for.
Had you checked it before and it worked?
I did, whenever we lost whoever was doing it, this is the third, no, I've never seen it work.
That was me, and every time I've checked it, it's never worked.
Okay.
So that's going a long time. That's 2 for me and more for you, Liz.
Yeah,
It's one of those things, sometimes you have to hold your mouth right.
okay.
I'll check it out.
It kind of sounded like like there was a vacuum, actually. That's the impression
Oh,
I got.
I didn't even get a noise.
Yeah, I didn't hear that either, so.
Tyree, once again, everything's very well manicured. I thought the playground looked great. In fact, I even commented that the gravel was just like spotless. I was a little impressed by that. There was some overflow parking onto the grass. I'm not sure what our rules are regarding that. The dock itself had some boards that were both loose and coming up, so it's pretty clear that had some deferred maintenance. I did talk to some members there. I did not have the chance to talk to anybody at Granton, but both of them, interestingly and independently, happened to mention that they didn't feel that there was enough truck trailer parking. Now, in Granton, it's pretty well demarcated, and the parking lot looks pretty good and fresh enough at any rate. But in Tyree, the surface has not really had any attention in a while, it appears, and so there really is not enough demarcated parking, and I think it's kind of become a free-for-all. Now, I don't know if this would only really be a problem on like a holiday weekend when it's max use or anything like that, but in any case, I said that probably the next time we need to be careful about, or diligent about, making sure that we do have some amount of truck trailer parking designated the next time we actually deal with the parking lot there.
And I would say that because I put in my kayak a lot at Granton, some days it's not full, but there are a lot of days where the truck trailer is full, and most of the time, people like me who do not have a trailer are parking on the other side. But it's pretty busy on a lot of days with trucks and trailers.
I do as well. I don't know what the right amount of parking is, and the mix. I don't know if is there a code that determines that. I don't know, but it's just something that's got to be addressed.
So, of course, we have designated truck and trailer parking, but if there isn't single vehicle parking, then it's pretty much known that you can take one of those truck trailer spots if it's open. And then people do park off the edge when it is really full. At Tyree, that is a chip and seal surface on that, and it has never been designated with lines. If we were to ever go with a pavement, an actual hot mix pavement, we would mark the lines at that time. But with the chip and seal, the lines don't last. So, and it may be something we have to do as we get busier, but up until now, it hasn't been an issue.
Yeah, I don't think it's a crisis, but opportunities for improvement possibly. And again, what the right mix is, I don't know. That's hard to say.
I'm pretty sure Granton is maxed out too, because it sits in between two dry run creeks. So I think the parking lot at Granton is as big as it can be, and there's X number of feet to pull into a trailer spot. So I think we looked at that, and it's we're as wide as we can be there.
So be it. We're dominated by the geography.
Thank you, great job. Next we have Lake Avalon and Liz.
Okay. I was there right after the 4th of July. The lawns were all mowed, trash was emptied, mutt mitts filled, play areas were clean and working, restrooms and water fountains were working and clean, and the beach was just opening that morning I was there, so the members were in line to enter while I was walking around. An area for review, I mentioned this I think a few months ago, and it's still an issue. There's a water spigot at the beginning of the park by the grill and trash can, and it doesn't turn on. I don't know if it's not ever supposed to turn on. Seems like it should, since it's right by a grill. And it's just a simple,
I would love to meet you down there because it works when we're down there. So
I mean, there's no trick, right? You just do this or whatever.
I'll check it. I'll check it again tomorrow. But it works for us, so I'll check it again tomorrow, and I'll contact you, and maybe we can go down there.
Is it a certain time of day that it works?
Is it one of those frost-free where you pull it and then it takes a while for it to?
You're talking the one that's literally beside the grill, right?
Yes, right at the beginning.
Is that?
It's just a stainless steel, metal one.
It's a frost-free hydrant, but it's not a second. It just takes a second. It's not.
It does. And the frost-free is, you gotta go all the way up.
Okay,
before
I
it
will pay
releases,
much
and
more
it does
attention.
take a little bit.
I guess we need instructions from me. I will do it next time. Thank you.
You can sit there and wait on it, just a little bit.
Okay. While I was there, I had member interaction with 3 members who were getting ready to put their kayaks on the water. They just asked if I could pass on this concern. Rick and I think talked briefly about it. They have been on the wait list to store their kayaks there for some times. They don't live on the lake. So they use Avalon often, and they always have to haul their kayaks each time, and would gladly pay the annual fee to store their kayaks at the lake. So I don't know if we ever have that. I know that's a lake issue, but something to consider is adding more storage.
And that might be a good budget recommendation that the committee's going to be talking about.
Okay, I didn't know if that was something.
That would be an outstanding suggestion.
Okay, all right, thank you.
It's cheap, and so that means it's doable.
And potentially an ROI.
And maybe
And it isn't just there. I was on the list at Windsor for 2 years before I got a call. And then I decided I don't want to do that, but yeah, that's a revenue opportunity that the agent.
We make the money back in less than 2 years.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, so that is something we could suggest.
Absolutely.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.
Next, we're going to have Kingsdale Complex with Richard.
Yeah, I went through everything today, and I've been to the tennis facility several times this month. The pavilion and playground are in good shape today, especially considering all the rain and whatnot we've had. There was quite a few people actually playing on the playground today. The pavilion and playground are in good shape. I walked through the mini golf course. It looked like it was in pretty good shape too, and been pretty picked up. I did notice it's a shed by the mini golf course. I think it's a storage shed, maybe. And on the north side of it, on the bottom of the siding, there's some pieces that are kind of rotted away or chipped away at the bottom. And it just looked like, it's not that bad, but it looks like a place where a critter might want to dig in there sometime. I don't know. You might just check that, see what you think. The pavilion restrooms, clean and well stocked. I did notice up on the wall where the vent is, air conditioning vent, I think, it's pretty dirty. It looks like it hadn't been cleaned in quite a while. The rest of the bathroom was nice and clean, but I noticed that vent looked up like it was almost half covered with, you know, just dust or whatever. The Kingsdale complex looks good. Right now they're in the process of replacing the deck, the overlook deck over the tennis courts. Apparently they found some rot in some of the structural boards while doing some power washing, and decided it made sense just to replace the decking. So that's being done today. I talked with Kelly a little bit, and by the way, everybody likes Kelly. Everybody I talked to, all the tennis folks, they seem really happy with her. She's doing a good job. I talked with her a little bit about that USTA grant that they were applying for, and she was indicating that there's kind of a backlog with the USTA and the, you know, application process due to they were pretty much swamped with applications all over the country, you know, and the people found out that the USTA was going to offer some money to resurface courts. So that's kind of in a delay mode right now, I think, a little bit due to the USTA's backlog. Everything else looked good out there. I know a few weeks ago when the storm knocked down and it looked like a big oak tree on the south side of the tennis courts. It didn't quite make it to the fence, which was good. And that's been all taken away and repaired. Everything looked really good as far as I could see.
I will mention something I heard from a member interaction. The Kingsdale pool, I guess, has 2 women's restrooms, and at certain times can back up to a point that this individual told me their kids were being instructed to be in the showers because the line was so long in the women's restroom. Now, I don't think it's an easy solution. The suggestion made was that there was a few changing areas that may not be as needed as a restroom. Again, don't know if this has been brought up prior.
These are within the existing restrooms, 2 stalls?
Yes, 2 stalls in the women's restroom at the Kingsdale pool. No ROI probably, but it's, again, this is the first I'd heard it and didn't know if it had been brought forward prior.
Well, I can imagine, I mean, I'm there a lot with the summer and all, the kids and moms over at the family pool. I could see how that could be an issue. I never really thought about it. I know there's only 1 stall and there's a urinal on the men's side. Doesn't seem to be a problem, but it's usually not probably dads taking kids on a Thursday.
Yeah, the pool houses need significant work 10 years ago.
Is that the building where we come in? Is that what we call the
Yeah,
pool
I'd
house?
call that the pool house.
Okay.
It needs significant work.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be a cheap fix.
Yeah, I mean, it's always neat and tidy, but yeah, it's old.
Yeah.
So a redesign might be, you know, add some stalls.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. I'm going to cover Lake Ann, Metfield, and I'm actually going to cover for Brian the gun ranges. So Lake Ann, there wasn't a lot to note. Both the Waterfall Bridge area and the dam area were looking good. The wildflowers are actually growing around the path down to the waterfall. Portalets, everything in that area were all in great shape. Metfield, quite a few notes. Pool and pickleball courts in great shape. We had a member install a memorial swing that we had approval to do. We got that installed about 2 weeks ago now. Also, thanks for the recently installed updated umbrellas. They were fantastic. Both portable and permanent bathrooms cleaned and stocked, picnic, barbecue areas, great shape. Clubhouse and workout facilities, all in great shape. Areas for review, nothing really. Gym was out of wipes when I was there, but as soon as I brought it to the attention of the staff, they immediately looked into and found that someone had removed a little aggressively the wipe, and it separated from within, so she just pulled out from underneath. Member interaction, chatted with Lori at the rec center, and she had no member concerns. She only works once per week, so admittedly would have here less than others. Also chatted with a member, Mike, who'd been here about a year from Raleigh, participates in golf, pickleball, avid trail user. He was surprised at our pickleball lighting, both Metfield and Branchwood. It's just the limit of lights. Perhaps at some point we could consider an investment of additional lights. If you play at night, they're pretty poor and inconsistent in the lighting of the courts, and that's both Branchwood and Metfield. My note was they're lacking 2 poles and 2 to 3 additional lights at both Branchwood and Metfield. If you can imagine, the lights actually shine at the middle, so your dead light or lack of light is toward the rears. The area is distant from the pole itself. I'm going to find the note from Brian and cover that. Gun ranges. Overall condition, the pistol and rifle ranges both in good overall condition. The archery range is still closed for use, awaiting desirable lawn conditions. Trap and skeet area is not covered in the report for being closed on the day of this evaluation. Other structures are in good condition except as noted in previous reports and listed below. Areas for review, nothing. Member interactions, spoke with a gentleman who had just finished using the rifle range and his young son and stated that he thoroughly enjoyed the new rifle range. Also spoke with 2 women who were using the pistol range. They conveyed that the new facility was very nice, and they especially liked the more compartmentalized shooting ranges, as they found the range to be less intimidating than the open concept. And no additional observations. And finishing us off will be Tanyard Creek Trails and Blowing Springs Greenway, and that would be Alan.
All right, Tanyard Creek, overall conditions. Park is clean of litter and in excellent condition, providing paved and soft trails for nature lovers, hikers, and pet walkers. Educational signage. Have you been to Tanyard Creek and seen that educational signage? Provides learning opportunities for hikers, explaining floral and geological features of Tanyard Creek Nature Trail. There's a pet refuge station at the front, located next to the parking area. Areas for review. The restrooms are in good condition and working great. I went by today.
Good.
Thank you.
It's still a mystery about what went wrong, but
yeah, well, but everything's looking great. Thank you. Let's see. Member interactions. I ran into a group of school children, about 20 kids and teachers from Springdale, that were having lunch at the pavilion and walking the whole area. They were just having a big time. And the new striping on the paved lot is working great. It's pushing people over into the overflow parking. And there's just a lot of people at Tanyard Creek with school out. I go by there all the time, and the paved lot's usually full, and overflow on weekends when it's opened up has been half full. So it's getting a lot of use. Tanyard Creek Nature Trail volunteers update. They're maintaining the trails through the summer by picking up trash, keeping poison ivy away from trails, weed eating around signs and benches, trimming overhead branches, replacing educational signs as needed, and keeping the waterfall trash can empty. All right, Blowing Springs.
We're gonna take that, we're taking that trash can over.
Good.
I informed everybody today, they were mixed opinions on that, but, we'll
Okay,
take care of it.
Thanks. I end up getting that chore every once in a while. Okay, Blowing Springs Greenway Trail and Bella Vista Trails. On Blowing Springs, the overall condition from the front parking lot to Houston Road is in very good condition. There's only one gravel wash right where the little cabins are. What's the name of that trailhead there? Low Rider or something like that that comes in?
That's where Low Rider.
Yeah, it's just chronically washed right there.
When were you there?
Just about an hour ago. And there's 3 little puddles of water, one behind each restroom, and that's chronic too. I mean, they're there. We've been getting all this rainfall. The remainder of the trail's in excellent condition. The vegetation's been trimmed back, and it looks really good. Are we responsible for the Cooper Elementary track, that track that's when you come in on the right, the pump track or whatever?
Where that park is?
Yeah.
What kind of equipment is-
Okay. All right, okay. It needs a trim. Anyway, let's see, areas for review. A water fill station at the front parking lot would be nice. I know that's very expensive. Member interactions, visited several different times, and everything was just super positive. It always gets great reviews there. For information on Bella Vista Trails, everyone needs to follow Trailblazers on Instagram or Facebook. Wouldn't you think that would be the best place to look for trail conditions before they go out? Or is there another option?
There is a trail condition page, Bella Vista Trails condition.
There is a Bella Vista and Blowing Springs Trail condition page on Facebook. And then there is also the We Are Trailblazers. We Are Trailblazers is a little more focused on community. Okay. The trail condition page is more of like an up to the minute.
Okay.
You know, here's what I saw, here's how this looks.
Okay, good.
It's better for questions about how a trail is doing.
Yeah, before, if somebody's coming in from out of the community, they can access that before they hit the trail.
Yep.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, Alan. We're gonna move on to new business, and I'll ask Tom, in the consideration of time, do you want to postpone the committee position nominations or go ahead and move forward with that?
It's up to you guys. I know that we're running a little bit late, but we did have some issues that needed to be covered and that took a little bit longer. So we could definitely delay till next month on the positions.
Yep. Sounds good. You wanted to discuss the JAC rep training?
Yeah, if we could still do that. I'll try and give you the whirlwind tour, and if I go too fast, just let me know. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody. We have between our 3 committees and, well, actually multiple committees and the board, we have over 40 volunteers, and you guys are the ones that make it happen. We really appreciate that. So on this training, you're going to see the italicized is actually straight from our governing documents, and then the normal print is kind of me trying to make it less legalese and more understandable. But you know, the Joint Advisory Committees provide advice and recommendations to the management team and to the board of directors. So that's your purpose. And you report actually directly to the board of directors. In some communities, you actually report to management, or you might have your own authority and so forth. In this case, you report directly to the board of directors. And then you have liaisons. We have 2, well, right now 1, and then we have 1 here, and their job is to facilitate communication. They don't take charge. Deborah doesn't come over here and take charge of the meeting, but she is there to voice opinions and concerns that are shared during the meetings to the board of directors. And so that's what the liaisons do. And Kathleen's remotely. I always point up here. The camera is actually right down there. So if you actually look at the screen, because you're looking at Kathleen, you're actually looking into the camera. So her view, it makes it a little bit more personal. So there you go. Management representation, we always want to have at least one. In this case, because recreation covers so many different areas, that's why you have so many different representatives here, and it clearly shows our dedication to listening to what you guys have to say, and that's important. Reports each month, we're given reports by the committee chair, or the committee chair actually shows up and reports to the board meeting, or they give me a report and then I go over it at the meeting. So it's part of the communication to the board. That's very important, and they get the minutes. So advisory, the board and the management team, we put a tremendous amount of weight to everything that the committee says. But always remember, you're advisory, you're not adjudicatory, and so it's even part of the name, Joint Advisory Committee. So we just want to make sure, we like to point that out because every once in a while we'll have a committee member that kind of goes off the beaten trail and we got to go, well, this is advisory, you're not actually going to, can't tell us what to do. You got to be, advise us, that's great. Recordings of the minutes. So if you haven't been in here before, we have multiple cameras, and we have Chris back there in our, we call it the producer's booth, and we're recording. We got microphones all over the place, and we live stream this, and depending upon the meeting, there might be 200 people that view this at home, and so it's recorded, and that's part of the transparency. We want to make sure that our community is able to participate. And we have all of these meetings available on our website. We have 5-6 years worth of meetings available. We have the minutes available, the agendas available, everything available, part of transparency. These are open meetings. We've had a couple of people that attended. I think that's an important part, important part of our mission and being transparent is having the meetings available to our membership. Now, subcommittees, every once in a while, the committee will create a subcommittee. So a really good example is several years ago, the Lakes Committee wanted to do a deep dive on wake boats. So they assigned a subcommittee to do the research. Now, the subcommittee cannot make any decisions. They can make recommendations that then go to the greater committee. Those subcommittees, those meetings can be held, they don't have to be public, but they're also not making any decisions. They're just making recommendations. So other than that, all the meetings should be public and camera and so forth. Community input, part of what you do, and you guys do this a really good job, is you talk to the community when you're out there. Get their input. How you doing? Are you enjoying what you're doing? Is there anything you see? So it's not just you talking, it's actually your friends, your family, and those who you run into when you're doing the tour. So community input is very, very important. Member open forum, we have that. Now Jessica is going to record that or time that, give them 3 minutes. I think the only misconception is it's really kind of a one-way street. And this is what I mean is, and today's was not a good example, the museum, but they come up, they talk for 3 minutes. It's not a dialogue back and forth. It's not a debate. It's a they state their views, then they sit down, and then we respond, when we're all done, because we want to be respectful of the 3 minutes. Also, we got to be aware that sometimes what happens is if the person's up there and they're saying wonderful stuff, we'll give them more than 3 minutes. But if they're up there criticizing, then we cut them off exactly at 3 minutes, and that's not good. So we always have to give everybody 3 minutes, and no more, no less, because we don't want to be ever accused of favoritism. Handouts, if there's any handouts that are ever given, those need to be open to everybody that attends. It's part of being transparent. The handouts are the reports, those are all included in the board package, so it becomes public for the community. So we try and be transparent. I keep on using that same word again, but it's an important part of what we do, is being transparent. Meeting length, well, we're not going to accomplish this today, but we try and keep the meetings to an hour, and by and large, when other people are leading the meetings, we usually finish within an hour. No, by and large, we finished with an hour. We're very, very appreciative of that. Areas concerned, you guys are the rec committee, so if you're a golfer and you start bringing up golf concerns, that's not your area of concern. You're more than welcome to be a member of the community and come to the golf committee and voice your concerns, but that shouldn't be at the rec committee and so forth. Also, we're not going to talk about financial reports or pricing. That's not your area of concern. Your area of concern is the member experience. You go to Branchwood, how's your member experience? When you go to Branchwood, those four, how is your member experience? Uniquely compiled information. First of all, I always encourage people to go on our website. We have a huge amount of information, but if you are looking for really specific information, we're probably going to say that's not your area of concern, and we're not going to run a specific report. But I first encourage you to go onto our website. We have a huge amount of information. Annual budget recommendations. So we had a couple items that came up today that might be good budget recommendations. We asked the committee to turn those in by August 30th. We want you to force rank those, what's most important to what's least important. They can be large projects or they can be smaller projects. And we had a good example of that today, where that's a relatively small project, and that sometimes allows it to get done. We don't have to necessarily do them in order. Sometimes what ends up happening is we do number 1 and 2, and those are more expensive, and then we drop down to number 5 because that's less expensive and something that we can accomplish. They don't have to be capital projects. Sometimes they're staffing. Sometimes, like for the Lakes Committee, hey, we need more lake rangers. That's not a capital project, that's a staffing issue. So it doesn't have to be just capital projects. And we encourage you to be realistic. We all want to have an indoor pool complex, and but I don't have $20 million. So we try and be realistic with your recommendations. Be respectful of staff time. We've had situations where committee members, not this committee, will, I'll hear back and they said, yeah, the committee member kept me occupied for about 2 hours. Probably not a good use of their time, so just be respectful of their time, and so forth. Focus on the member experience. We talked about this. You're the eyes and ears. You're the member experience. Don't try and get too in-depth. Occasionally on the golf committee, we're going to pick on the golfers because they're not here to defend themselves. But they'll start asking us, well, what kind of granular fertilizer do you use on the golf course? Don't worry about it. Focus on the member experience. Did you have a good time playing golf? Was the golf course condition in great shape and so forth? Don't get into the granular stuff. That's not necessarily. Use of the microphones. So you want to be about right here when you're talking. Make sure you always turn on your microphone. We have these little things, they flash colorful lights if we forget to turn on our microphone. That hasn't happened yet. But the natural thing, or the thing that I see, is they turn on the mics and everybody leans way back here. They can't hear you. And I've watched meetings from home when I got sick 6 months ago, got the flu. And when you lean way back, you're gone. You can't hear it at home. So, but you don't have to be on top of this. You don't have to go up here. Just hit the button. If you go right here, perfect. Anywhere else won't be up. And that is your whirlwind, and many thanks. We can't make it happen without you guys. We really appreciate it. Any questions? Yes, sir.
With regard to the budget by August 30th, is that something that we, when you say make a recommendation, is it something that individuals do to the committee, or is that something that the committee will do as a group?
So you bring to the committee, and the committee discuss, and then the committee votes to go with this listing.
To rank it, okay.
And that goes to the management team, and we're gonna try and do the best we can with the funds that we have. So that's how it works, and so that's
so based on time today, next month's meeting, I should bring up my dog.
Yeah, and sometimes what committees will do is they'll have a special meeting just to go over the budget recommendations. That's really up to the committee. We just need it by the end of August. That's what's most important, because we start in earnest September 1.
So Keith, will we put that on our agenda for August then?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought, maybe I'm thinking of something else. I thought we got an email from the chair a few months ago with question to submit items, but maybe I'm imagining that.
No, I think it did occur.
Okay.
But you do imagine other things, I'm sure.
Yes, well, fantasy life.
So I think I may have inappropriately gave the impression that our vote for the pickleball tournament was within our means. The reality is,
It is.
we suggest, and the board still
No,
makes the
actually,
decision.
as of right now,
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
How the policy is currently written is going to be slightly modified in the future, but that won't be for several months. So the committee acted within their current purview.
Okay. Any other questions for Tom? Okay, we'll move on
Thank
to
you.
board liaisons, and thank you, all of you, for joining, and wanted to see if you guys had any feedback. Kathleen, I'll start with you, if you can hear me.
I'm all good, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Deborah?
Oh, I'd just like to welcome the new people. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys. POA staff reports. Tom, was there?
Let's try and make these efficient since we're already a little bit late, so.
Yeah.
So the POA Rangers have been busy this last month. We had about 11,000 contacts in the month of June. We had our biggest day ever. I'm sorry, July. We had our no, that was June. Sorry. We had our biggest day ever, and also our biggest week ever during that month. We are seeing a few boat violations due to wake violations and the occasional personal watercraft, which we're trying to stay on top of. Grounds maintenance, the biggest thing is we're replacing rotten boards on docks as we see them, and still taking care of trees that have fallen from the spring storms. Granton, London Landing, and Stony Kirk ramp areas have all been dredged. We're going to look at them again this fall during the Loman drawdown and spruce them up a little bit more. And our kayak demo day, which was on July the 5th, was fairly successful. It was a smaller venue than we've had in the past, but successful. And they're going to be asking for this again next year. And I'll end with that.
Thank you, John.
So we're in what is typically the slowest part of our year over at the gun ranges. July and January are our slowest months. So we're catching up on a lot of maintenance that we've been needing to do just because we're catching a breather. We'll be having our first planned maintenance over at Rifle Pistol likely before we have our next meeting. That's just redoing surfaces that get shot, things that we knew were going to get shot, the renewable surfaces of the rifle and pistol range. So we'll be doing that very soon in anticipation for a very busy season coming in the fall. And then also over at archery, we've got all of our target stands. The grass is maturing nicely at this point. What we have figured out is when we finally got a slightly stretch of dry weather, we're having maybe some light drainage issues right in front of one of those pads, so we need to figure out something to do with that drainage, which we're researching right now, coming up with options. So everything's progressing nicely over there. Just waiting on figuring out what to do with this drainage and making sure the lawn's mature. All I got.
One question, when you're going to do the maintenance on rifle and pistol, will there be like an email blast or something so that people don't just show up and think that it's open?
So it is unlikely that we're going to have a maintenance day on a day that we'd normally be open. We have Mondays normally devoted to maintenance, and as of right now, we think we can do everything that we need to do in those single days. Thanks. So no service interruption.
Thanks, John. Moving to Trey with trails and outdoor recreation.
All right. Trail numbers, we are at 204,000 people for the year. We are down 6% over this time last year, but it has either rained or been 100 degrees every day since 23 or something. Same, traffic's still the same, we're just down for rain, but not down very far really, considering how high we were last year. The trail connection going into the bridge at Lancashire, which was torn up for the highway development for the last 5 years, began today. So we're about 3 weeks, depending on weather, from that being connected and the tunnel vision loop being back to open. And we got 9 hydrants installed these last 3 weeks. So the hydrants that we were having difficulty with, we've got a different kind of hydrants. Trailblazers found money, and plumbers just installed those, so we are checking those out. But that's 9 other places in addition to the other 6 that we have. So there's 15 places out there now with water on the trail. That's all big news.
Thank you, Trey. All great news. Finishing up with Roland. I'm sorry, question?
Do you guys cover the bridge that is over behind Krylike that was taken out by the storm?
No, that's a Bentonville business.
Okay, Roland's going to cover recreation and wellness.
Well, we're currently in our busiest time of the year, obviously, with all the pools open and the beach open. We had a very successful July 4th weekend. I'm proud to say we did not run out of any of our snacks, ice cream, and soda, so very happy about that. Swim lessons just finished up last week for the season. We were looking at about 120 spots filled for the season, so quite happy with that. Swim team will end next week. That's been very successful with a wait list the whole time through and stuff, so very successful there, and we'll end there.
That will finish the meeting. I'll remind everyone, next committee meeting is August 11th, 4 p.m. in this boardroom and live stream. Thank you for all you've brought.